Today's project, suitcase drum kit. I do a little acoustic thing, and I always thought it'd be fun to have a little kick, snare action going on. So I built one before that's actually a full kit, and I'll find some pictures and add in here to show you. I did that a couple years ago, and we actually played it at a, believe it or not, kind of a mega church Christmas program. It was pretty cool. But anyway, so here we go. Old Samsonite suitcase. Somebody found this for me in the trash. I got my tom head. There's some of the parts. The other side was used on the other drum kit, so this is leftover stuff I'm using. The other one actually used as a tom for a full kit. This one I'm using as I'm going to use as a kick. But you cut your hole, figure out where you're going to put that thing. I've started drilling holes for where the these little tension bolts. I'm not a percussionist, so if I get the words wrong, don't get mad at me. That'll go through, and the other parts will be inside there. So you got to get yourself going this far, right? So the inside kind of looks like that at the moment. I mean, this is all just sitting in here for looky-loon as I'm trying to figure it out. But I'm not an engineer by any means. I just kind of like when I weld or build any of my projects, I just start hacking and cutting and welding and sticking, and next thing you know, hey, we got a finished product. Found my first challenge. I did this from the top side, marked where I thought the holes should go and drilled them. And then I started putting this piece on, and as you can see, I'm off a bit. I looked at some of my other drum stuff and realized, yeah, that's a pretty straight shot. So maybe I moved the ring on the top too far off. I'm going to continue putting all these back on and then get a better idea where these holes should be. Alright, so the better way I found to do this for putting these holes in is get these guys mounted on the inside of the case so that you don't do this, because I'm off about that far. So I'll pull this back through and drill the holes hopefully in the right space now. Here's probably another better way to make sure you're getting the holes in the better spot is just flip this dude in there and make sure you got it all lined up right. I mean, worst case, I don't know, you're just going to waller the holes out then. Old tom, and so you see they're free floating anyhow. So the hole that I'm making on the suitcase is just so I can allow that guy to pass through to get down to this guy. And that's just another one of my crazy builds. It's actually pretty wild when all the lights are on. They come up. Anyways, it's a whole nother story. Well, as you can see, I got the drum mounted in the holes. I think I'm going to take some blocks of wood and put like in these kind of like four corners to get this locked into place so that this stays the same, or this stays mounted, because it's the head that's going to float, and that'll give us about that much distance. So it'll have a lot of room for it to snug down when we get to that point. So here's where we're at. I got this guy on here. We've got some room to allow for this to be pulled down, because it's definitely not tuned at all if you know anything about drums. The inside is looking like this. As you see, I decided to bolt the 2x2s on there, and then I pre-drilled and just used some nice wood screws to hold the drum to the 2x2. That'll keep this drum actually stationary, as the head and bolts all have more than enough room to float around and adjust and do its thing. So trying to figure out exactly where I'm going to use this, how I'm going to mount the strap onto the bottom. Trying to figure out that distance. That looks like that's going to be about right. So like I said, everything with me is a little trial and error. This is going to work well. It's not tuned at all, so it'll get better. I did notice this isn't thick enough for the pedal to clamp onto, so I'll have to double that up or do something. No big deal. So that is just bolted on the bottom there. And I left it so that I could still open this up, because maybe I want to throw in you know, the pedals in there, or an extra guitar cable, or I don't know, whatever. So I've added some foam. Again, I've not put any money into this deal. This is all stuff I had laying around from other builds, things I've bought, who knows. But there's the inside. So let's put it back together, see what we got. All right, so there it is. Thought about making a second over here that was a drumstick that would just hit a metal plate and make like a cracking snare sound. I saw a guy do it at a coffee house I played one time. It was pretty cool. But I've also picked up one of those guys, so, you know. Lots of fun, lots of learning to be had here. So I thought I'd show you the drum set, suitcase drum kit I built a couple years ago. This one we actually used in a church production. Did quite a few nights. We were supposed to be like carolers, and I made it look like we were buskering. So, you know, acoustic guitar and then a drummer on this, you know, and he actually sat on a throne. I was like, dude, sit on a bucket, make this legit buskering. But, you know, got a little kick, some snare, a little tom action, a little splash, and a quasi ride, I guess. I don't know what to call it. I put a sound hole on this, and like I said, we had it mic'd. It worked out pretty slick. You know, it needs a little TLC. It hadn't been played in a couple years. But that's the first one I ever built, and here's a couple things. So because this tom took up so much of the suitcase, I had to shorten this guy, which is probably okay. The drummer playing it didn't complain. He actually giggled the whole time he was playing it. So here's the one we did today. The suitcase is just as tall, but it's not as wide. But we used a smaller tom, and I put it up higher so I can leave this longer to reach up to the center there. No sound hole on it. I don't know if I'll change my mind on that or not. But that's it. It's kind of fun. See if I can learn to play a kick drum while I play guitar and sing, and then if I ever have some, I don't know, something silly we want to do, we'll pull this out. I've often thought playing on the street corners buskering would be kind of fun. Now, by no means am I a percussionist, and by no means am I any good at this yet. But in theory, so there's kind of a taste of it. It's a lot going on, trying to play the guitar, hit the tambourine, hit the kick, and then if you try to add in singing. But I live in this world where I'm willing to try anything just for a laugh, especially if it involves music and friends. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm definitely not an engineer, not a master builder. I build a lot of things. I have fun doing it. If you have any questions, throw them in there. I'd be happy to try to help you walk through your own DIY builds. Check out some of my other ones. I built some pontoons for a kayak this past summer. A few years ago, I built a cigar stomp box using a speaker as the microphone to a 1/4-inch jack. I put it in the sound system and had a neat little kick on it. So check it out. Don't laugh too hard at some of my other videos. There's some soapbox cars in there that I built a few years back and rode down a hill in some fundraisers. So guys, God bless you. Hope you enjoyed this. Take it easy.